back here so I can see you. That's all right. I just want to be able to see you guys too. First of all, thank you. It's always great to be back in Glastonbury. I have sitting out the parking lot. I was on the phone before I came in here, and last time I was on this property, there were oil tanks, and I was the president of CROG at the time. And I worked with the town of Glastonbury, and I remember we had a CROG resolution passed unanimously to support as our #1 project in the region the removal of those tanks. I think Bobby might have been,
yes, sir.
Bobby D was the mayor of East Hartford at the time, and Bobby DeBella was the contact. And I remember meeting with Barbara Kennelly and Chris Dodd, and starting the process to get those tanks out of here. It took a long time, but it's wonderful. But more important, I spent 66 days in Glastonbury back, I think it was 1984, the year of the Reagan landslide, when I ran for the Senate seat. And I had a wonderful time. Almost pulled it off. I had over 49% of the vote. Carl Lindsay had almost 51% of the vote. That's the year when the Democrats lost 49 states, and it was not the best year to be running. And so I'd like to give it another shot. But let me tell you what I've been doing, first of all. I have been running for lieutenant governor. Like Kevin, we've been to many of these places together. I believe as well that it should be an open process. 8 years ago, I was on the, quote, short list to be lieutenant governor, and the person I was running with made a deal with Bill Curry, and they ran as a team, which is the way it works, and that was fine, and so, you know, maybe next time. And so we've been going out and getting delegates and trying to make the case, because I think we have not had a real lieutenant governor since Joe Felicio was in office. Right. Joe Felicio used to be the guy who would be out in that Senate and in the House. He would be talking with the D's and the R's, and he'd say the governor needs this, and what can we do, and how can we make this work? And you had a working body in the House, the Senate, and the governor's office, and we missed that. We missed that, and we need that. I got a call late last night that Ryan was not going to run. I was asked early in the process, do I want to run for the 4th seat again? I know when Ryan ran 8 years ago for the House seat, Ryan ran for the House seat because he wanted to get into a position we could run for the Senate seat. Many of you knew his dad, Dave. Dave was known as the conscience of the Senate, one of the most honest, hardworking, reliable people that's ever served in the state Senate. And I think, and I know that Ryan wanted to have the opportunity to fill his dad's shoes sometime in that seat. And Ryan called and indicated that he just can't run this year. He has 3 children under 6 years old. He's trying to build a law practice. It's very difficult. He has a young baby, and his wife needs a husband. And in running for the seat, he couldn't do the job the way he envisioned on doing this job. I tell you that I would do that job. As I said, I was here for 66 days. I almost pulled it off. But what I do, I work hard. I have been elected 17 times now in Manchester. I was a mayor for 14 years, a deputy mayor for 10 years. I was even a minority leader for 2 years. And that was a good experience because you learn both sides and how to negotiate and work together. And that's an experience you need to have. I've been very active statewide. I chaired CROG actually for 8 years. Worked very, very closely with the Glastonbury delegation over those years. Worked closely with the members of the House and Senate. I've chaired several statewide committees, developed the first Incident Management Task Force Committee, which is dealing with traffic calming, traffic accidents, and so on. And they finally, at the point of developing a manual, I put together simply because of a need, like Glastonbury, Manchester, and other places. Several years ago, when we hired police department employees, members of the police department, we used to get hundreds of applicants. We don't get them anymore. And if you get 500, by the time you get down to the polygraph test, you're lucky if you get 100 left. And what we're finding tragically is that once you get to that last 100, if you've got 15 that are qualified, you're thrilled. And much of what has happened is that they blew it basically in junior high school and high school. The dumb things that we've all done, when you're taking a polygraph test, come back to haunt you. And so I went to Crack and I told them what I thought, and so they agreed. And so we've developed, we're on our 2nd year, we have a public safety high school, the only one in the United States It is a combination of police, fire, medical. Every child that graduates will have the EMS certified. There'll be paramedics. They'll have what we call cross training. They will know the role of the fire department, the police department, the medical, tow trucks, everybody that's involved with an accident scene. All of these are critical. They'll know communication. In fact, in our new school, we'll have a communication center. We have literally hundreds of dispatchers working for various departments in this area, and it's a major job within public safety. And so we now have we have a sophomore class. The greatest thing that I like about this program is that, first of all, we have very few minority police or fire or anything else. 60% by state law has to be in the magnet schools, minority. We are basically almost right at 60-40. We had a meeting today, in fact. Our enrollment for next year will be 334 students. But the strongest part of this is we start them in the 6th grade. And we bring everybody in for 6 weeks in the summer. That was one of my great fears, is that you can have a kid for the normal school year, and they go back to the neighborhood, and they screw up. What we're finding, the best testimony is the parents. They don't recognize their own children in many cases. They can't believe the differences in performance. Kids reading, doing homework. There are many incentives that the school has put in for these kids, and they're doing well. And I got a hunch when we come out July 16th with the test results, we're going to find that this public safety high school has done exceptionally well. We're located right now in Enfield. We're looking at 3 towns to be more centralized with a new school that will hopefully be open within 2 years. But it's one of those kinds of things that, if you think it can happen, do it. And that's one of the attitudes that we seem to be lacking in Connecticut. Connecticut seems to stop right here at the end of its nose. We don't seem to look forward. Look at the budget crisis we're in. We had not planned for a budget crisis. We never have. We haven't. Much of our funding, much of our programming is day to day, month to month. When the session is over, it's over, and then you start from scratch the next year. We can't continue to do that. We just can't continue to do that. There are many, many ways that we can save money out there. And the best example for me and all of you that have been associated with CROG is that we can do so much cross boundaries. There's so much that we can do in sharing of resources and things like that. We just don't do it because the initiative isn't there. So I came here to Connecticut in 1965. I didn't know how long I was going to be here. I've been in Manchester since. I grew up in Nantucket, along the coastline, really. My father was a fisherman. My grandfather was a dory fisherman. For 90 years. He came here at 6 years old, and at 90 years old, the boat went out because they couldn't compete with the trawlers, and then he was a night watchman on the boat for 6 years and died at 96 on the boat. Died in heaven as far as he was concerned. But I grew up in a fishing.